and welcome to Chai Chat with Lavina. Having chai, can I raise it? Yes, it's actually coffee, but there you are. I'm having chai, he's having pani. But meeting over tea, coffee and pani with a man who wears lots of hats, multiple hats, Farhan Akhtar. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Farhan, how many hats? Could I just start? Have my IQ test for you.
Of course, please.
And then you can add some. So, film director, screenwriter,
that's right.
Songwriter,
Yep.
Playback singer, singer,
Yeah.
and actor. So I have finished my 5 fingers and it's gone over.
I think the one that you missed, which is probably very, very important, is film producer.
Yes! 7th one. Gosh, how do I forget that? Very important. So 7 hats you wear. Any
7
more
hats.
to wear?
I don't know.
And now an activist, I guess.
Well, I mean, that is something you need to do regardless of your profession.
Yes.
To be involved in helping society in whichever way.
Yes,
you can.
of course.
So I don't see that as a separate hat.
So 7 hats. So जब बचपन में जावेद साहब ने बोला कि बेटा क्या बनोगे तुम बड़े होके?
मैं actually बहुत upset हो गया था क्योंकि स्कूल में उस वक्त there was a casting going on for Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. तो मुझे सारे 7 Dwarfs I wanted to play because I used to like all of them. तो मुझे मौका नहीं मिला था. I must do 7 things ताकि मैं 7 hats और 7 Dwarfs के लिए audition कर सकूँ. तो
Awesome. And you know what? You have done so well for all the people who can't really make up their mind and want to do a lot of stuff and can do everything well.
Right. Well, if my work or if my choices have motivated or inspired people to do things or step out of their comfort zone, I'm very grateful that that's happened. Hopefully it's worked for them. You know, for parents who might be upset that their children are doing something that they don't want them to do, I just give them a chance. You know, you never know. Talent lies in just places that you can't imagine.
What was the urge that was there an urge or do you make a decision कि नहीं पहले मैं producer director बनता हूँ फिर मैं बाकी चीजें करूँगा, and how did you compartmentalize that?
I was always very excited by entertainment, by entertaining people. So just at home, I would always be up to something just to be able to make people laugh.
Yeah.
You know, and I guess garner attention, you know, from them as a kid. And that to me felt like a natural extension of my interests, my personality, I guess, where I felt my enthusiasm and interest lies. And that just led me from one thing to the other. And I mean, initially, of course, as a child, when you watch movies, all you really recognize is the acting talent. You know, you don't really know what the director does. I mean, although my father was a writer, my mother was a writer, you don't really know what it is that they're sitting in that room and doing. You know, what you watch on screen is very tangible. Yeah. So you can relate to it. So my initial love was, you know, I mean, if I want to be a part of this world, I should act. You know, because that's what one does. But the more I watched film, the more I learned about it. I realized that my interest lay in writing initially. And that's it just kind of naturally led me in that direction, and then now here I am today.
Now here you are today, and here you are today in London with a purpose.
With a purpose, that's right.
Please tell me the purpose.
Well, the purpose is that I have my very first music album called Echoes that is releasing very soon.
Yeah.
The 3rd single of that released on the 2nd of February. I'm here to talk about that single, to promote that single, to promote the album. And it's just, it feels so good to see the interest that people have in the music. That to me is very reassuring, that it was really worth the time, worth the effort. And yeah, that's what I'm doing here.
Fantastic. Farhan, the world of cinema and media is changing.
Yeah.
The landscape is changing. It's so amazing that it is. And we'll come to that. But in the music landscape, do you think, because we had a pop culture going and then
Yes,
just really went away, and now you're coming up with an English single.
Right.
So where do you see the music industry and where do you see yourself in it?
Well, the consumption of music has changed completely from the time that we're talking about.
Yeah.
We're talking about the late 80s, early 90s, when the whole indie pop scene really did explode.
Yes.
Even in Pakistan, there were so many bands that emerged with some great songwriting, great music. And in India, especially, what did happen was a lot of that got absorbed into Bollywood. and all the artists who were independent started working for Bollywood, because I mean, I guess you make more money, your music travels further, and that's kind of what happened, and then just that whole kind of bubble burst. But now, because of the consumption changing, and it's not really about going out and buying a CD
Yeah.
or buying an audio tape, you can, I mean, just now listen to it on your phone. So the freedom to be able to browse, to be able to just sample, is so much more, that it allows for people to experiment. It also makes it very difficult to get somebody's attention. That is true. But the fact that you have the possibility or the potential to reach millions of people through a song without them having to physically go somewhere, you know, and buy something, is tremendous. You know, so how do you tap into that? How do you interest people? For me, with this music, it's an extension of who I am, my thoughts, my ideas, my emotions over the last couple of years. So I've just kind of put it all into word and into song, and hopefully that will resonate with people when they listen to it. I'm feeling very, like I said, very encouraged by especially what's happening with the third single right now. There seems to be a great excitement about it. Just the other day I was told that it had reached number 12 in the Apple charts, which is all genre Apple charts in India.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so that's amazing for an English single to do that. And let's see, hopefully we'll just keep it going.
Did you train into it, Farhan, from a very early on? And did you think that, you know, singing is another thing that I want to pursue?
Well, I was always interested in music from a very, very young age. All kinds of music. I was very fortunate that both my parents were music aficionados themselves.
And writing beautiful songs.
Yeah, writing beautiful songs, collecting a lot of music. My mom is an avid collector
Right.
of music, and also very, how do you say, generous with letting her children who could possibly damage a record, you know, or do something, just like listen to it whenever we felt like, no questions asked. And that, I think, just had a very powerful influence on me as a kid. And music to me is an extension again of just creative expression.
Yeah.
So be it in writing, be it in film, be it in acting, it felt like a natural progression for me to be able to write songs, write poetry, and now to take the step and
Yes,
share it with
brilliant,
music.
brilliant. So I think we could have added one more, because I have seen you perform in BAFTA and I have
Right.
seen you perform in another event with Hindi songs, because
Right.
you could be, because performing on stage is yet another art.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And you enjoy that?
I love it. Absolutely love it. You know, I mean, when you talk about connecting with an audience, which is what
Yeah.
every single artist hungers for,
Yeah.
there is no better place than doing it on stage.
Yeah.
You know, you've heard theatre actors, of course, talk about that feeling.
Yes.
And it's exactly the same thing. I mean, when you're on stage, the more true to yourself that you are, the more honest you are about who you are in that moment, the more appreciated you feel, and it's just a liberating experience.
So it's not only seven dwarfs, we have to find another one.
Right.
It's eighth, and then maybe a theatre thing is coming through as well.
We'll see.
And on that note, Farhan, let me take a short break, but I do want to come back and talk to you about you raising your voice for gender equality. Stay tuned on Chai Chat. We are in conversation with the very talented Farhan Akhtar.